Sometimes you just gotta make them bite. There he is. Look at that. Great big one.
This spot's gotta have fish. I got him. Good one, boy. Good one.
There we go. There, Chuck. Nice fish.
That did not take
Sir Isaac Newton famously postulated that to every action there is always opposed an equal reaction.
There we go. Got a little more.
In the underwater world, actions have consequences. A tranquil school of slowly swimming minnows draws nary a glance from nearby predators. But as soon as one minnow scurries in panic and stands out from the norm, it becomes the focal point of immediate attention and imminent attack. In fishing, the erratic action of lures suddenly entering fish's zones of awareness alerts them to momentary feeding opportunities and triggers instinctive strikes. There's no time to think, only to react before it gets away. Today, On the Edge, we tackle the deadly game of action and reaction, pitting the erratic snapping action of a breakthrough lure design against the finely honed instincts of walleyes on the prowl. Because when it comes to the moment of truth, one good snap deserves another.
She's a big eyeball.
And look, you're stuck on the bottom.
Yeah, I'm stuck on the bottom. I'm stuck on the bottom with about an 8 or 9 pounder.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, maybe even a 10. Whoa,
like
man,
that.
she's a big fish.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm telling you, she's a donkey.
Closed captioning provided by FishHead. Walleyes, what pops into your head? Live bait rigging, back trolling, finesse fishing. Well, in some cases, that is true.
This is another one of those. Oh, giants. Huh?
Walleyes can be finicky, but that is the Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde. Walleyes are a top-of-the-line predator with big teeth and aggressive attitudes that will eat anything in sight, including their own.
That's a real one, yeah.
What did she come out of? I was
White snap wrap at about, holy mackerel,
Yeah.
look at that guy there. That's a whippersnapper.
That's the one you're looking at.
Whoa. That's a good one there.
How deep was that fish?
About 30 foot.
That's where we're marking a few
One
of the
thing
bigger ones. There's a nice fish.
About this technique, it's just the efficiency for covering water, deep water. Look at the size of him. Whoa, 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 whoa. There you go. There we go.
There you go. She's,
Right now, Al and I are going to look at a strategy, this technique of real deep water fishing that we've been sort of messing around with over the last couple of years, and it's just incredibly effective for a wide variety of fish in moderate to deep water. We'll get her back in the water pretty quickly.
the last couple of years we did a couple shows on deep water fishing with a jigging wrap, which was initially designed for ice fishing. And the response back that we had from fishermen that have tried it all over the country in all kinds of environments has been incredibly good. Whether they're fishing lakes, rivers, reservoirs, almost all season long. We're going to fine tune a little bit more about what we learned in the last few years with this style of bait. Not only for walleyes, we might even mention a few other fish.
Oop, there's one. Oh, good one, Al. There you go. That's a Buster Bulldog there.
Again?
What? I saw him on the depth finder. That's one thing when you're fishing deep water like this, you know, your electronics are so critical. Oh boy. And these fish just stick out like a sore thumb. You know, we're moving around and traveling from hump to hump. And whoa. You know, not spending a lot of time. You know, you come through and you see the fish and you get bit. And if you don't, you move to the next spot. Ooh, boy, this may be a big pike, maybe. I don't know.
No, I can see the head is shaking like that's a bigger walleye. It's a big walleye. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, nice.
Big pike.
Big pike.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about. Oh, she ate the bait.
Oh, here,
yeah,
we
we're gonna
need
have to
the
get
bait,
her.
so.
We're gonna have to get her in the net.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll make this easier here. That's
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing about this technique, which is really interesting. And you know it's a really good technique when it catches so many varied species of fish. You know, we've caught walleyes, big pike, panfish. Actually, my dad did some experimenting down in salt water, and he's catching tarpon and redfish in holes in river situations. But what I'm saying, this technique, you know, a really hot technique, when it really works good, it works for a lot of different species of fish. And that's what this vertical jigging, these like snap wraps, this presentation is so effective. You have to retie after that. But I tell you one thing, this technique really works for a wide variety of different fish species. We'll get her back into the depths here pretty quickly. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Oh,
Jim.
down. Whoa.
Oh, big
That's a
eyeball,
fish?
man. Big eye. Oh yeah, she's a big eyeball.
That looks, you're stuck on the bottom.
Yeah, I'm stuck on the bottom. I'm stuck on the bottom with about an 8 or 9 pounder.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, maybe even a 10. It's a big pike. Look at the size of her.
You know, this is a huge pike, and it's going to take some
take
time to
that.
get him in. So let me talk about one of our favorite fishing destinations. It's Northwest Ontario. You know, we've been coming up here for years, fishing, filming, and vacationing. This region has so much to offer throughout all 4 seasons. In the winter, you have giant lake trout, crappie, walleye, whitefish, and let's not forget trophy northern pike. Throughout spring, summer, and fall, you have the same species, plus massive muskies, largemouth, and smallmouth bass. This is truly a fisherman's paradise.
Yeah, you know, and that's one of the things I like about coming in this part of the region on these shield lakes here. It is so much fun.
Man, that's a big one.
You know, depending on the lake you're on, you know, you could hit. Usually, if you're into these big walleyes on these deep humps, you got an occasional bonus like this fish that I'm talking about here.
Wow.
You know,
Look
if you're
at
a
that.
little bit
Holy
shallower.
mackerel, that is a giant. Wow.
Can you get her, bub?
Yeah. Whoa. Wow. It
Just
doesn't.
barely
This
fits in that
Fravel
net.
is not quite big enough for that boy there. That's a serious
Okay,
one.
the bait just flew out. Watch
Did
this.
it really?
Yeah.
That's
Down
good.
there. I'm going to show you this baby.
Boy, that's a
Boy,
fat
she's a
pike.
donkey.
Al,
man.
that is a big pickerel.
Okay,
there.
watch it now.
Yep.
Okay, look at the size of that thing.
Wow.
Look at the size of that pike. Oh, yeah. You know, I did get lucky with that snap wrap on that one where I hooked her right in the corner of her mouth. But she is a giant, like I was saying. In these lakes up here in Northwest Ontario, and when we're working these deep rock bars, like this for those big walleyes, I'm gonna put her back. Oh man, there you go, baby. Woo! Boy, he got you.
A little bit better.
That was those fish that I seen. You know, I seen some on the bird. You got a net by you? Can you handle it? Or?
Yeah.
Whoa. That's a big walleye. Like, look at the head shake.
Ooh.
When walleyes get fussy, you need to saturate the fish zone with techniques in either temp bites or trigger strikes. That's where Walleye Precision Techniques put you right on target for walleye success. It's part of our Angling Edge instructional DVD collection, available at anglingedge.com.
The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
You know, there's a number of different ways to present these baits. What we've been doing is actually put the iPilot on, and I'm actually moving along anywhere between like a 7 and 0.7 and like 1 mile an hour, and I'm actually sort of moving along, and you pitch the bait out in back of the boat and just sort of a snap jig.
I'm going to get a net. I think you got a bigger fish than you
Yeah,
think.
it is. It's a nice
Oh,
one.
yeah,
There
nice
you go.
one.
Here, there you go. Whoa, 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 whoa. There you go. That's a good one. I like
See
that.
how often that happens? That's one thing you got to really be careful with.
Oh, look at that.
You got to have a net under that fish on this type of bait all the time, or you're going to be in trouble.
Look at that. Beautiful fish. But as I was saying, I'll get her back in the water and explain to you some of the different ways you can actually present a snap wrap or a jigging wrap. Come here, buddy. We'll get her back in the water. Ha! When you look at this bait, it's really sort of, it has an interesting design. You can see it has a lead body underneath it, and then it has a plastic sheath that goes over the bait. It actually has a pretty big glide path, and what I mean when I rip this off the bottom, it shoots like this and lifts up and then goes like this. And realistically, the snap wrap falls differently than a jigging wrap. They're actually two pretty dynamically different baits. But I tell you one thing, they both can catch a lot of fish with this technique.
To understand the snap wrap or jigging wrap bite, you must first understand the prey you are imitating and the predators you are pursuing. Like we said earlier, walleyes can be pretty darn moody.
I went over a whole bunch of them sitting right in here.
Yeah. You couldn't tell if it was sticky bottom or not.
I'm pulling her off the break.
Yep.
That ain't sticky bottom.
That ain't
That's a big
sticky
walleye,
bottom at
man.
all.
On one hand, they can be extremely finicky creatures that will selectively hit a leech over a crawler or vice versa. On the other hand, they can be extremely aggressive predators lashing out at any wounded or injured prey. Your job is to mimic that action, and these baits do it in spades.
Ooh. More
Color.
Perch.
Smallmouth.
Nope.
No, perch. What? You got a whole pot of them here. There'll be somebody in here eating them. That's usually a good sign that there's something. You know, as fast as you snap this thing, when you're in a bunch of perch, it isn't rare to have. A lot of them will actually eat it, or you snag them like that, and that's usually a good sign. There's usually fish right there. It goes hand in hand with a good snap wrap or jigging wrap bite.
In most natural lakes with good walleye populations, yellow perch rank high among primary forage species. Perch are notorious bottom huggers and often hug transition areas between hard bottom structure and adjacent soft basins. A snap wrap jumping off the bottom along these edges is really deadly for triggering walleye strikes because it mimics panicked perch fleeing for their lives.
Is there a bunch of them there? Wow. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Whoa.
I'm impressed. I'm really
Wow.
impressed.
That might be a real boy there.
Well, you've been whacking them here, man. That's another walleye.
You know, one thing when you're snapping this bait, it's actually sort of weird because I'm dropping it back to the bottom on that slack line, and then you're lifting it up, and a lot of times the strikes are coming, the fish are almost picking it up off the bottom. I don't feel the strike. All of a sudden you lift up and he's on. And that's one thing that this bait is. It's a tremendous triggering bait. We'll see what this could be a big walleye.
That's shaking. That's a walleye. It ain't running like a pike. It's another one of the big walleyes.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm a betting man.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, I'm a betting man. I bet it looks to me, I've seen a few of them on this rod, on our rod before, and I'm giving you 5 pounds.
It is. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
swing them back here.
Well, come here, buddy.
Don't let their heads shake, bub. The equipment that we're using, what I like to do when I'm using a snap wrap or the jigging wrap, this type of bait. And this is one of our angling edge technique specific rods. And I like to fish, when we're fishing this style of bait, I like a 7-foot medium action. It just fishes the bait better for me. And I tend most of the time to go with monofilament. And on the bait, we'll put up somewhere between 15, 18 inches ahead of the bait. You put a barrel swivel on. Sometimes when you're casting, and I cast it a lot, the bait will go like this through the water. And a barrel swivel just, and the bait swims in a circle down there. So you'll eliminate line twist, that's key.
You know, when you look at deep water fishing, you know, specifically for walleyes, that, you know, so many, it's like finesse techniques. And this is definitely not finesse. You're actually going down there and making the fish actually react to the bait. It's sort of interesting the way we're moving along. I'm actually watching on my hummingbird, and actually based on we're in 25, 30 foot of water, you can see where my bait is tracking in back of the boat. It's really interesting because I'll be moving along, then I'll see a fish, and then about maybe 6 or 8 seconds later, as soon as that snap wrap gets near them, the fish is on.
Power fishing. It's a term usually reserved for bass anglers. Well, not anymore. In fact, we are power fishing for walleyes anywhere between 20 and 40 feet of water. How does that grab you? These baits like jigging wraps and snap wraps allow anglers to descend into the abyss in seconds and keep the bait in the strike zone for an extended period of time. Not to mention, you are perfectly imitating struggling forage on the bottom. This technique is extremely efficient to strain water and trigger strikes.
And the other thing we're thinking about, I can fish so much more water than you can with a live bait rig, as an example, or even pulling a spinner. Because man, you can really truck when you get in these deep water structures like this. And that's where this bait shines. If I had to give you a depth range, deepest I caught anything on it was 65 feet. Yeah, you know, and that was actually a school of fish. And most of the time we're fishing, I'd say from 18 to 40 has been the best run. And on these Canadian Shield lakes like this, these humps, these shallow, you got the shallow spots, and then you got these transitions where it comes off of the boulders, transitions into like a little bit of sand and then goes into mud. Those ends, right on those ends a lot of times are just deadly for this. Initially, most of our fishing with this style of bait was done in sand and gravel bottoms. Yeah, you know, and you don't want to do this when you're in big rocks, the way we're fishing, where you're casting or snap jigging. You're gonna bury the bait a lot. But when you got these cleaner bottoms, it works great. However, this past year, I've got reports back from guys that have gotten up in these big lakes where they get right on top of these big boulder areas, and these walleyes are laying down inside the boulders. And they're not pounding bottom like we are now. They're laying the bait above these rocks, and they're moving, doing just what we're doing, but they'll sit there and hold the bait for a long period of time after they snap it. Now just imagine these walleyes in these big boulders, and they're just sitting there, and they'll come back up, and that bait is it'll do its deal, and then it just sits there. And it just swim with it. It's doing nothing, but it's just going like this over the rocks. And all of a sudden, boom. And another interesting one that I heard in my home lake of Minnesota, there's a lake called Malek, and a unique body of water. It's got out in the middle of the lake, it's got what they call mud flats, real soft bottom areas. I had reports from guys this year, when they would get out, they'd go out on the mud flats and they would see these fish suspended where they'd be like 3, 4, 5, 6 feet off of the bottom. And they were taking a jigging wrap on the mud flats on that lake and pounding them.
And judging by the results so far, I would say that works pretty darn good.
So I mean, we got a whole lot more to learn about this bait. How to fish it, when to fish it, where to fish it.
Let's face it, we're living in the digital age. Everything is moving at warp speed, and the fishing industry is no different. Today we're using a feature called iPilot Link on our Minn Kota Terrova trolling motor. This is a perfect marriage between a Humminbird depth finder, the extremely accurate LakeMaster mapping chip, and the Minn Kota Terrova trolling motor. This is how simple it is. I pull up to a structure, drag my cursor over to a depth range, and assign it to follow contour. Set your speed, and away you go. The Terrova will follow the depth contour spot on. Modern technology is amazing, and having this unit is as close as you can get to having a chauffeur on the water.
I do want to see this one. She
Yeah,
should
that's
feel
what I
really
would
good.
like to see it too. That looks like a better one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I see. Oh yeah, nice fish.
Wow.
Nice
Look at that
fish, brother.
whippersnapper.
Nice
Whoa.
fish. Woo.
Whoa.
Here you go. That's a big gal there,
Oh,
man.
look at that one
Ah.
there.
I just get the treble off of here and show you.
That's
this
a good one
baby
there.
here.
That's a real sport.
Okay, you gonna
man.
get that out of there?
Sure.
Look at that baby, huh?
Wow.
That is a King Kong.
If you'd like to know more about fishing and vacation opportunities in Northwest Ontario, log on to northwestontario.com. Northwest Ontario, there's no place like it.
The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
You know, I don't remember where I got this, but I cut it out of some publication someplace, and it's sitting by my Bible. Every once in a while, I pick it up and read it. I think you're going to enjoy it. It's titled, Good Morning, This is God. And then it goes on to say, the author, unknown. Today, I'll be handling all your problems. Please remember that I don't need your help. If the devil happens to deliver a situation that you can't handle, don't attempt to resolve it. Kindly put it into something for God to do box. It'll be addressed in my time, not yours. Once the matter is placed into the box, don't hold on to it nor remove it. Holding on or removal will delay the resolution of your problem. If it's a situation that you think you're capable of handling, please consult me in prayer to be sure that it's the proper resolution. Because I don't sleep nor do I slumber, there's no need for you to lose any sleep. Please rest, my child. If you need to contact me, I'm only a prayer away. My prayer line's open 24 hours a day. I love you and always be with you wherever you go. Love, God. Pretty neat, huh? It's hard for us to get our natural mind around God's unconditional love. Think about that. Unconditional love. It's impossible for us to understand that, but it's real. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, have a good fishing season. We'll see you in the water. Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for watching. And if you really like what you see, we got a whole lot more. So check us out at any one of these online outlets.